Hello, my fellow Cybertronians. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at Studio Series 117 Hatchet. This was one of the last figures to release in the old style of packaging. And, an interesting thing is that Bumblebee was, is that the recent Bumblebee movie, Bumblebee, was 117 in the images, but 116 in public. Now, whilst that's fine, it isn't Hatchet. 116 is 8-point. Oh my god, I get why they removed the numbering system now. But back to Hatchet right here. So, vehicle mode looks nice, alright? Until you flip it over and then you realize it shell forms. And it also does a questionable case of parts forming. But we'll get into that later. Now, wheels aren't painted. However, I'm pretty sure that's accurate to the movie because they were just all black. Now, ignoring my cope, you can see that there's a gap at the front. I don't usually mind gaps, but it's just so front and center. Like, how do we not have an upgrade kit for this yet? And yeah, all the wheels are pinned, so rolls pretty well. Now, for comparisons, here he is next to Studio Series 66 Overload. And, this is the Deluxe. This is a Modern Leader, which is basically just a Voyager, so, yeah. Another black vehicle, Studio Series Ironhide. Can't wait to get the rest of the Autobot cast. Jazz is gonna be hard, however, Bumblebee and Ratchet are easy to get, and at the end of this year, I'm gonna be getting Prime through the 15th anniversary Revenge of the Fallen multi-pack. And for the funnies, let's compare them to a first movie figure, which is another Deluxe. Not Studio Series, 2007 Deluxe Class Bumblebee. This doesn't want to go in for some reason. Like, god damn. I won't go in. SS-102 Optimus Prime. This scale probably doesn't work, but it's two different universes, so what do you expect? But if it doesn't work, then Studio Series, then Hasbro. I'm not a scale person. Well, I am kind of a scale person. But if you're gonna put that on the back of the box, then I'd expect you to get close. Alright? And finally, my next review, mainline ROTB Voyager Class Optimus Prime. This figure is more fun than SS-102. However, it's way less movie accurate, but accuracy doesn't always matter. No. Now I sound like that I'm coping. And that's basically it for the vehicle mode, so let's get down to transformation. So first, you want to pull down the front, put the windshield and hood up. Now, pull on this piece and put it back. Same thing on the other side. Shell forming, god damn it. Now, you want to untap the legs, bring them down. Same thing on the other side. And this is the questionable case of parts forming. This comes off and becomes the tail. However, I think it's parts form. This comes off, and this becomes the tail. And speaking of which, do not put it here as... No. Ugh. Dang. Do not put it here. That makes it look like an accessory, which it is. But instead, put it in the hollow gap that was made because of the Deluxe budget. So that it looks way less like an accessory and more like it's part of the robot mode. But this is parts forming nonetheless. However, it becomes weapon storage, so it's a questionable case. But yeah, now just put that in the gap here. Rotate the lower leg, bend it 90 degrees, and bend down the foot. Same thing on the other leg. And that's the back body done. And now, just so you know, I haven't glued these panels in. So what you're seeing is entirely raw. I shouldn't have said that. So, carefully untab the front legs. Pull this up and now just fold in. Put down the front legs, rotate it, put down the foot, and fold the panel. Same thing on the other side. And now put down the ridiculous back. And what I like to do is that I take the hood section and just put it like that. That makes it look more compact, but it isn't nonetheless, because the robot mode is kibble. Now, because all I have to say about this robot mode is kibble. That's just basically this figure as a whole. It's just kibble. Like, just so much. And this can be explained because this was designed by the Generations team, as well as Q and the recent AOE Optimus Prime. So, yeah. And now, articulation. Head is on a swivel. I think, and these dreads can move to however you want. And something that's expected on a figure like this, you get an opening jaw. Like, you get one. Blah, blah. It's there. And the front leg are on ball joints. And they're weirdly placed. But I don't mind that. You get a full single jointed bend at the front leg, which is unexpected. And you can put up the front foot or put it down, and you get a quote unquote bicep swivel. Nah, it would be a thigh swivel, wouldn't it? And the back legs, they're also on ball joints. So pose them however you like. And then I think the knee is on a ball joint, and that gives us a thigh and above the knee swivel. And the back foot can move. Now, since this was based off of the Berserker mold from the last night, you can't get him into like an interesting pose because it's just like a robot that was just plonked on its front. So that's articulation, and now for comparisons. Here he is next to the Studio Series Ironhide, and this is gonna be the only genuine comparisons I'm gonna be doing with Hatchet, because, well, he's meant to be like that, and I've always been standing him up. So, there you have that. Here he is next to the Studio Series Overload. So, man, them heels are not doing anything. Here he is next to First Movie Deluxe Class Bumblebee. And, you can see how that works. The Studio Series 1 is probably gonna scale better, but how can I tell if I don't have it? Pain. Now here he is next to SS-102, the spaghetti former. And this guy's not straight. There you go. So, there you go. And last but not least, here he is next to my next review, mainline RTB Optimus Prime, which is a much more solid figure than the Studio Series, but he is a lot shorter, especially in the vehicle mode, which in that case that's just straight up a deluxe. But other than that, he has quite a bit of articulation like SS-102, but he has much more solid joints and a much more fun transformation. But this is about Hatchet, which is a weird figure. So, there you go. So, that's about it for Studio Series Hatchet. Now, what's my score on this figure? It's probably like the first Michael Bay design that the Generations team has done, but like, I'm not, like, I don't care, alright? I'm still gonna give this figure, like, let's just say a 6 out of 10. No, wait, a 5.6 out of 10. Yeah. Whilst it is fun, just that those panels like to come off, and, it's just a shell former and a slight parts former, so 5.6 out of 10 is probably fair for me. Put your rank in the comments, and this is Cybertronian Reviews, signing out.